Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Go Get It podcast, episode 10. And today I have Megan Murray on. Did I say that right?
Megan Murray.
Megan Murray on with me today. And why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. So, yep, I'm Megan Murray. I'm on Instagram as Bacon Megan Cheese. I'm very passionate about health and fitness. Currently, I'm studying for my nutrition certification. I have my personal trainer certification. I am a military spouse, so my life is pretty much revolved around my husband, Sean, and he's a naval aviator. So I've had this time to pretty much pursue my passion. I got a degree in public relations, and it's after I graduated when I realized that I actually wanted to pursue a career in health and fitness. So trying to work on that and hopefully build my own online business and in-person personal training once all this COVID, shenanigan comes to an end at some point. So that's just a little bit about me. And I'm a BPN ambassador, which is something I'm super passionate about as well.
Actually, how is the COVID situation in California right now? Because, here they closed down the gym. Like, in New York, they have closed down the gyms and indefinitely. Like, we don't know when they're going to open back up. So I'm curious, how is it in California right now?
So I'm actually in Washington.
Oh, you're in Washington? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's probably pretty similar to California. I'm honestly in Sean and I talk about the time, we feel like we're in a bubble because we live on base. So, and he works on base, I work on base. So we don't really have much of a reason to go anywhere, but the gym on the base is very limited to, active duty. So I go to the gym out in town and it is open. And we live in a small town. So I don't notice any crazy restrictions. It's kind of, you have to go in stores, wear a mask, wipe down the equipment, stuff like that. But in our area, I think it helps that we're in such a small town. I think in bigger areas like Seattle, it's a lot different, but and nothing too crazy, just being, conscientious of others. And yeah, exactly.
I got you.
Definitely from the East Coast, though, that's for sure, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a little more lenient than the East Coast because here it's well, again, you have to wear masks, no gyms are open, but then bars are kind of open. They're outdoor dining. So it's it's a little strange. It's kind of confusing because we're all right, you're going to open up the bars, but people like the gym too. You know what happened to that?
Yeah, that's such a pet peeve of mine. It's people are trying to get after their health and fitness, but I guess, bars and liquor stores are more important. I don't know. So, but I guess you've been probably doing mainly home workouts then and, keeping up that way.
Yeah, basically I just got a pair of adjustable dumbbells and resistance bands, and that's what I've been doing. Just been getting after it with that. I've actually really been using mostly the Break the Switch program that Nick Bear put out, and I kind of modified some stuff because I only have 2 dumbbells in the band, but I'm actually really enjoying that. It's really high volume, really intense stuff, but it's definitely shed off a little bit of weight, and it's a really tough program.
I'm not surprised. I was doing the Embrace the Suck program. They had a free home workout program, and that's what I was doing when there were no gyms open when we moved to Washington, March, April, May. I was doing that, and it kicked my butt, and it was all body weight and cardio. So yeah, you can get some intense workouts in without a gym for sure.
Seriously, I don't think I've ever been so tired after I think it was you ran a mile, and it was 20 box jumps, 15 kettlebell swings, 20 push-ups, 10 burpees, something like that. And it was as many rounds as possible in 30 minutes, and then another mile. And I'm I know this would be nothing to Nick Bear, but me, us normal people out here trying to get better or dying from these workouts.
Yeah, that sounds killer.
So why don't you tell me kind of what initially started getting you into fitness? Was it later? Was it early? So why don't you go ahead and explain that?
Sure. So growing up, I was a swimmer. That was my sport because it did not involve running. I tried other sports that involved running. It was just, I hated it. So swimming was my thing. And I swam all throughout high school. I was the co-captain of the varsity swim team. And then when I got into college, I just kind of fell out of that community, the swimming community, and it wasn't
Like
something I
structure
took.
kind of high school sports, because I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, because in high school sports, you just have that group of people, and like that's what you love so much about it. And then when I went to a university, I went to Florida State University. It's just hard. You're trying to focus on starting all over again and meeting new people. And I lived 7 hours away from home, so my priority wasn't joining a sport right away, and I didn't know if I wanted to do swimming, so I took a break from that. And in college, I think like most people who go to college, their focus is kind of on, their major and going out and having fun. And that was pretty much what I did in college. And I kept up with working out and being active when I could.
Mm-hmm.
But when I turned 21, you want to, like I said, go out, and you kind of don't realize that all the drinks you're having have a lot of calories. So I definitely put on weight in college. And then it was my senior year of college when I just kind of realized I don't feel great. I've definitely packed on the weight. And like I said, I just didn't like how I felt. Like I couldn't walk upstairs without feeling winded, and I was like 22. And I just knew that that's not how I wanted to start, my new life post college. So it was the last semester of my senior year when I finally decided I really wanted to do something that was going to be sustainable. Because throughout college, I would like enjoy the semesters, go home for the summer. I would work, exercise, lose the weight, and then come back to school.
That's a pretty common thing that happens, I feel like.
Yeah, and I was trying all these different methods that just weren't, like I said, sustainable. So I actually started Weight Watchers in the last semester because I didn't know where to start, and I just thought I want to do something that I can still enjoy the foods I want, but in moderation. So that kind of helped me just pay attention to what I was eating, log it in some form without something that was so specific, because I track macros now, which I'll get to. So that was a good little, kind of stepping stone. So I ended up losing about like 25 pounds by the time I graduated, which is cool that I decided to make that decision then, because I actually ended up, Sean proposed to me that semester too. Like
so everything just worked out. Yeah. So
yeah, and it was a time when it was big for me because, like I said, I was taking my health seriously. Mm-hmm. So by the time I graduated, I had lost the weight and I felt good. And then I just kind of hit a wall where I was like, okay, well, I've lost weight. I don't want to keep losing weight. There's only so much more I can do. And I was kind of stuck for a little while. And then that's when I started getting interested in macronutrients and tracking macros, because I had new goals of I want to build muscle and I want to have energy and I want to be strong. So since then, I've kind of just fallen in love with growing and, eating to fuel myself and not, trying to eat as little as possible. It's the exact opposite. I want to try to eat as much as I can. So I started studying for my personal training certification. I got that, and now I'm working on my nutrition cert. So it's kind of just snowballed from there. It turned into something that changed my life, and now I want to help others see there's so many other things you can do besides just feel like you're always having to diet and lose weight.
Mm-hmm. I got you. So what do you think changed about from when you initially lost those 25 pounds to like now? Because you said like at first you were always just like trying to cut, and I've even seen in your post that you've talked about this stuff before. And like now you're more about, like living a more sustainable lifestyle. Even putting on a little bit of lean mass is like fine. So like, what's your take on macros then and macros now, or like calories then, calories now? Like, what do you think has changed?
So I've grown mentally so much, because that was in 2017, 2020 now. So it's been a few years. And like I said, at that point, Shauna just proposed. So I knew that there was a wedding that would be coming in the future. So I think I was too afraid to chance putting on weight and the extra weight and seeing where that would, I just wanted to stay lean until this big event in my life, I think, had come up. So that was a huge reason why I was too afraid to go into this new growth phase that I'm in now. So that was a big reason for that. And then I didn't know our wedding would end up being 2 years later, because with the military, we're constantly moving and it was just so hard to plan. So we finally had our wedding this past November.
Oh, really?
And after,
oh, wow.
Yeah. We had a courthouse wedding in 2017 after he graduated officer candidate school, because we were about to move and my life was going to be revolved around him. So we wanted to get that taken care of. And then, like I said, didn't know that the wedding the big wedding would come so much
Yeah.
later.
Hmm.
So I just kind of wanted to keep that physique as long as I could, and I did that. And then yeah, right after the wedding in November, I hit a reverse diet, and I was just so excited because I was towards the end, I was just feeling I wasn't sleeping well. I was always so focused around food mentally. I just felt weak. I was just trying to maintain the muscle I had. So, and now I feel like I'm thriving. Sean says I'm always in such a better mood. And
Yeah.
it's just, life is so much more fun when I can fuel myself for these new goals and not worry about my weight, so much. So it's been a fun new phase in my life.
Hmm. And in your opinion, what exactly is reverse dieting for the people that don't know what reverse dieting is?
So reverse dieting is slowly adding calories into your daily caloric intake until you can reach your maintenance level. Some people, they can even lose weight while they're reversing. And when you reverse, you're gonna gain weight. My goal was just to gain as little fat as possible while doing it. So I reversed for months. I did it very slowly because I worked so hard to get lean. So I didn't want to add a ton of calories back in so fast where I would gain a ton of weight. But yeah, it's just reversing your calories up. I started at 1,400 calories and now I'm at 2,100 calories. And this seems to be kind of like my sweet spot right now.
Hmm.
Since, like I said, I was in a deficit for so long.
Hmm. I got you. I got you. And a little more towards the training. So I know you said you have a coach right now, but how has your training changed since you first started losing weight, if you were lifting then, and to like now that you're like kind of more in a mass gaining phase or like a very lean mass gaining phase,
Yeah.
like the cardio and all that stuff?
So I was definitely doing a ton of cardio before, and especially when I was getting closer to the wedding in November, I was doing, I'm trying to think, well, at the same time, I was actually training for the Austin Half Marathon. So from last, I think, August to this past February, I was training for a half marathon, and then the wedding was, somewhere in between that timeline. So that kind of lined up really well because I was needing to keep up with cardio to keep the leanness I was at anyway. So I
Yeah,
was
so you were training for the half marathon, so it kind of made sense to do that cardio at the moment because you wanted to
yeah.
do well on that, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was following a program for that, and I was doing a ton of cardio, but like I said, I wanted to maintain the muscle I had. So I was also doing weight training on top of that, but I just felt so weak. So,
Mhm.
but now going into this growth phase, I only do two 20-minute cardio sessions, which is so insane because I was running like 5 days a week before. So now I'm only doing two 20-minute cardio sessions on the bike, and then I'm doing powerlifting weight training
Mhm.
for the rest of the workout. I'm doing deadlifting, bench press, squats, stuff like that. I love the bar. I'm so excited to be back with the barbell because, like I said, I was a swimmer because I hated running.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to be taking a break from running. But it was a good challenge.
Mhm. Do you plan on doing some sort of powerlifting meet, or you just like the aspect of training heavier now that you're like have a little more calories to expend from that?
Well, I'm very goal oriented, so that's why I needed to do the Austin Half Marathon to actually kind of force myself to do the running.
Yeah,
And
start the running. Yeah.
yeah. So my coach, who's helping me right now with my power building, she had asked me the same thing. And right now with COVID, it's just so hard to plan any events. So I said, I kind of want to just power lift to just get my strength up, see what I can do with these extra calories and all this energy. But I'm definitely interested in somewhere down the road doing something like that. It would be very new to me, but I think it'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I once I started like actually. Oh, honestly, let me ask you this: how important is it to follow a structured workout plan as opposed to just because I know when I started, I just went in there and did whatever, like,
Hmm.
quick chest pump, whatever it is, few sets
Hmm.
of bench, same tricep movements, biceps all day. And then that was it. And I repeated that like all throughout high school. So how important is it to follow a structured workout routine as opposed to just going in and doing random exercises?
So if you're wanting to actually see your strength progress, you want to have some sort of progressive overload or a program to follow so you can actually see if you're making progress. I think it's super important. I used to do the same thing like in college when I said I was just keeping up with my physical activity. I was just kind of going in and seeing what I felt like doing and doing it and leaving, and that was kind of all it was. And now having a set program, I keep track on my phone, what weight I was in last week, and then I try to, add on more to weight to this new week. I think it's huge in wanting to increase your strength, to keep track and have a consistent program. I'm on week 6 now, so I think we might do a deload and then go from there. So I think it's super important to have a program, especially for me. Like I feel like I would kind of half-ass my workout if I didn't have something planned. Like I need to have a plan going into it so I can make the most out of the time I have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if someone is going into the gym and committing themselves, like you showed up to the gym, right? Like you showed up, you're going to stay there for an hour or whatever. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just follow a structured workout routine so you can like, basically guarantee that you're going to see results as long as you track your workouts, track how much weight you're doing, all this stuff, because like that's ultimately what is going to add the muscle mass. It's not really just like going in there and doing what you think is going to work. It's really like, are you lifting heavier than last time? Are you doing more reps than last time? So like progressive overload is huge. Do you want to explain like your take on progressive overload? It can be quick if you want, but
for me, it's like I said, tracking what my workouts are and how much weight I'm putting up. That's huge. Like you're not going to be able to track your increase in strength if you're not actually physically writing it somewhere. So whether you have an app, you put it in your notes, you have a notebook, and then like I said, then the following week you're seeing what you, like for example, if I deadlifted 185 last week, then this coming week I can add, I can do 195 or, and I can also start with deadlifting 185 5 times and then go for, a deadlift of 195 for 3 or for 1. So just kind of pushing what you did the week before, instead of just being stagnant. Every time you go up the bar, you're going to put exactly what you did last week and the week before. You're not going to, in my opinion, go very far if you're just doing the same thing. And also sometimes at the gym, I'll go to maybe do, I don't know, something with the barbells. And let's say last week I did 35s, and I was going to do 40s this week, but they were taken. I'll do 45s and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I could do 45. So sometimes you just kind of need the extra push to see you can do it.
And that's why I really like on your shirt, the message, go one more. That's why I love that.
Yeah.
Because like you can apply that, like obviously that applies to lifting, but like that's just like a philosophy in general. Like I feel like you should always just trying to be progressing no matter what your career field is, no matter like what your training is like. It's just like you always should just be pushing yourself somewhat. And that kind of leads me to my next question. So how much has lifting helped you kind of like, I guess like better your mindset towards things?
It has helped me so much. Even on like if I wake up and mentally, I work out in the morning, because if I wake up and for some reason I'm just not in the best headspace or I'm just feeling down, if I go get a workout in, those endorphins just automatically set a new tone for the day. Like I'm such a better wife, I'm such a better coworker, I'm such a better friend when I have that me time. It's almost like my little therapy, like I said, my me time. I think it's so important. I think that if you don't want to work out for, muscles or for the physique, do it for the mental health. I think that is such an important component that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to exercise.
I 100% agree, because like I will be in the worst mood ever, and then I'll come back in my house and then my mom's like, why are you in such a better mood? And I'm just like, because I just finished my workout. That's why I just feel so much better. And it's just like the mental clarity that you have, that you don't have to worry about that workout anymore. Like you already progressed, you already did your progression for the day for your workouts. And it's just like, all right, like it's out of the way now. And that can be like, any type of workout, whether you're doing like self-defense training or weight training, running, like whatever you're doing, whatever your goal is, like I feel like as soon as you get it in, you're just like, all right, Like that's out of the way. And it just gives you like a
Yeah.
mental edge, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah, you feel so productive going into your day. And I feel like it's so easy to like there's times where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sleep in a little extra and I'll get the workout in later, and then something pops up later. And I feel like a lot of people that can be the excuse. It's like, oh, I didn't have time. It's like you have the time. It's just up to you if you're gonna make time for it. If you don't want anything to get in the way of it, schedule it in the morning, start the day off, and then like I said, use those endorphins and have a better day. So yeah, I completely agree.
that's awesome that you said that, because I made a post on my story the other day, and it was like, you can make excuses to not work out, or you can make excuses to work out. Because
Mm.
I don't know if you follow this guy like Nick Santos. Like he has like, I don't think he has any limbs, and he still gets after it. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, I
Yeah,
love
you
that.
should follow him. He's super inspirational. Like the guy has no limbs, and he's getting after it. So I'm just like, when my friends tell me, I don't have time to work out, I'm like, dude, you have time.
That's oh,
You're just making
that sets
excuses.
me off. Yeah, that's one of my biggest pet peeves when someone says they don't have time, because then it makes me feel like they're saying I have all the time in the world. It's like, no, I've got a lot of stuff to do. It's a priority to me, so I make the time. I wake up at 5 a.m. every day and get my workout in. If that's the only time I have. So
Mhm.
yeah, and then like you said, there's people out there who they have it way worse and they still make time. So yeah, that is a huge pet peeve of mine. I
Mhm.
cannot stand when people say they don't have time.
I know. I just can't. It just irks me. It just irks me. So what do you feel like the top 5 lessons you've learned from lifting in the past few years? Like, if you were to summarize basically everything that you just said in the top like 5 most important things, what would you say?
From what I've learned, sleep is huge. I did not realize how important sleep was until it was affecting my progress when I was actually cutting. I was doing everything. I was hitting the nutrition, I was hitting the cardio, I was hitting the weights, I was doing everything, but I wasn't getting my sleep. As soon as I started getting my sleep, the weight started coming off. And just in recovery, that I guess would be number two: sleep, recovery, making time to stretch, roll out, warm up before your workouts. That's something I was never doing before. And then like I said, nutrition. Nothing really seemed to click for me until I got the nutrition right. You can be spending all the time in the gym, but if you're eating all the calories back, when you're at home, it's kind of just canceling it out. I mean, you're getting the benefits of being physical, but if you're trying to look for some physique goals, then you need to get your nutrition. And then I think that was four. And then the fifth thing I would say is just my form, really focusing on my form in my workouts. Because you don't want to start lifting heavy when you don't have the form right. So I think taking, if you need to bring the weight down just to perfect your form and then go back up, bring your weight back up, that will get you so much further. So
Mhm.
those are all huge things that have clicked for me and have gotten me so much further in my fitness journey.
Mm-hmm. And I 100% agree with everything you said. Sleep, I still don't, I feel like I still need to get more sleep in. And I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of people are just like, like whatever. But then I'm like, well, you're literally not letting your muscles recover enough. So don't expect the
Yeah.
results if you're not getting enough sleep. Like, if
Exactly.
I,
It's almost like you're not even reaping all the benefits you could from your workout
Mhm.
because you're not allowing your muscles to repair and you're not allowing your body to recover. It's like the sleep is so important and it's a huge component. I feel like a lot of people just put on the back burner. They don't get a priority.
Mhm.
And I'm still working on it. There's nights where I don't get enough.
Mhm.
So it's hard.
But like you recognize it, and I feel like once you recognize it, you're like, okay, I just need to focus on this, and I'm gonna do little things to get better at it. Form, huge, because I
Hmm.
have gotten like not even like crazy injuries, but just like minor pains because my form was just so bad like back then, and I'm just like, wow, like I really could be so much further ahead if I had my form right to begin with. If I wasn't just like slapping on random weight that I knew I couldn't handle and I just wanted to do it just because of my ego. So like form,
Exactly. I'm glad you said that. I think ego can play a huge component in that. There's a lot of people around. You just want to look like you can put that weight up, and it's like you got to be confident in yourself and just know, and kind of put your pride aside and know that you'll get further by, like you said, focusing on form first and
hmm
not trying to show off. It's easy. It's easy to want to do that for sure.
hmm especially if you're around like an environment where everyone's lifting heavy. But
Oh,
I also made a post about this. It was like, you should not, like, I feel like now that people have been working out at home a lot and not around a gym, around other people, it really makes you like think about why you're lifting. Like you're not there to impress other people because there's really no one around you except you. So you really are just focusing on progressing, like, for yourself. Like there's no, like, who are you gonna ego lift around? Like there's no one to impress. You're the only person that's there, you know? So like
Yeah.
that's why I felt like it's actually been challenging for a lot of people to even get back to working out, because like, oh, like no one around to like impress, or like no one around to see me lift. And I realized that the other day, and I'm like, yeah, like it's me versus me right now, but it's always me versus me. So like,
Yep. I think that's the biggest thing. Once people understand that once they stop comparing themselves to others and realize it's you against yourself, you're gonna get so much further. I think that there's been a lot of negative things out of the whole quarantine COVID thing, but I think there's been a lot of, personal growth and a lot of positives if people have taken the opportunity to, use the time wisely.
I 100% agree. And I feel like to an extent, you should compare yourself to people who are better than you so you can, strive to progress. Just like you compare yourselves to the other people on BPN. Like, I see all of you guys. You guys are just like motivating each other. But obviously, there's people that are stronger than others. You like, you want to aspire to get to that point, but you don't want to obsess over it so much where you're like getting discouraged, right?
Yeah, I love that you brought that up because I remember when I first got picked as one of the 10 ambassadors, we were sent an email so I could finally see who I was, picked with. And I looked all of them up on Instagram and I was so intimidated. There's some people that are so jacked, there's some people who are so lean. And I was like, how am I in this group of people? And then once we finally had our first team meeting and I got to talk to all of them, it's like they're people just like you and me, and they're just working to be their best self, and we're just all there to encourage each other. And like you said, like, we're learning and growing from each other. We're not trying to be better than one another. We're just trying to, learn and grow and lead. And yeah, that's exactly right. It's cool to have a group like that you can just look up to and not feel like you're tearing each other down or trying to be better than someone else.
Exactly. And I just feel like once you surround yourself with the right people who are like-minded, like you guys are always striving for not perfection, but like you're just striving to be better than you were before. I feel like that's super important, because I realize, like, I'm still a college student, and I realize some people are just so off on their priorities that I'm just like, I don't really know if I like want to be around you anymore. Like, it's nothing against you. It's just like, I'm trying to grow as a person. I'm trying to get better every single day. I just don't know if like, if like you fit that criteria right now. It's not your fault, but like, it's just like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You probably went
Oh,
through
I
the
know
same thing.
exactly. Yeah, I think it's a huge part of life. It's difficult because you're supposed to grow, you're supposed to change, and you're constantly evolving as you grow and you learn what's important to you. And there's people in your life that aren't going to go in that same directions because they have different priorities, and it's hard. It's hard to realize, like, this person I thought would be my life forever, or they're so close to me at one point, we're now so many differences. So yeah, I've definitely been through that, and it's tough, but you'll find those other people who do resonate with what's important to you, and they'll support you in that way. And it's important to find those friendships. But yeah, through college too, it's tough, but you'll find your way. And as long as you have a good head on your shoulders and realize, okay, it's time to say goodbye to that, friendship, relationship, and make sure it's not holding you back. That's super important.
Yeah. And actually, it's kind of funny because one of my friends asked me the other day. So I'm in a fraternity at my school, but like I'm not crazy active in it. And my friend was asking me like, oh, like do you think I can join and like still do like he wants to do like a bodybuilding show. I'm like, do you think I can join and like still do that? And I'm like, I mean, the thing is if you know what your goals are and your goals are clear, it'll be a good opportunity to meet a lot of people. But if you're going in there and you just have a bad mindset of just like, I'm just going to drink every weekend, blah, 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 then you are going to get lost. You will just be a lost individual along with other lost individuals. But if you have a clear mindset on what you want to do and you're there, and you're going to make connections then. But if you're there and you don't know, you don't even know who you are, then you're literally just going to get lost in whatever the crowd is doing. That's
Yep. So you've got to have a good head on your shoulders and know exactly what you want and be confident in that for sure. Because that's exactly right. You can get lost so easily in a big group of people if you don't know, who you are and what's important to you, your values and your goals. So it's great advice.
hmm Yeah, so I don't know if he'll still do it, but I think he's got a clear head, so I think he'll do the right thing. Um, so honestly, now that we're back on topic of college, and this isn't really fitness related, but what's your opinion on college in general? Like, what was your experience like? Do you wish you did something else? Do you wish you went to college? Like, what do you like? What's your general opinion on that?
I love this question. My husband Sean and I, we talk about this all the time because I feel like he thinks like, and I kind of agree, college is so expensive. And it's just like, it's so hard to know, when you graduate from high school, what exactly you want to do. I remember when I did go to college, like I said, I graduated from Florida State University with my bachelor's in public relations. But when I went into my freshman year, I really didn't know exactly what it was that I wanted to do, but it's like the thing to do to be able to get to where you want to go. And even that, I didn't know exactly where I wanted to go, but I didn't want to just spend this time, not progressing if maybe I look back and like, oh, I should have went. So anyway, I went to college and I ended up stumbling upon a major that was in public relations, and it turned out I needed to apply to it. It was very small, a very competitive major. So I was like, if I get into it, this is meant for me. So anyway, I got into the major, and my degree is in public relations. So, like I said, I didn't realize my passion for health and fitness until the very end. So I do look back, I'm like, I kind of wish I did something in nutrition or, something along the lines of that, fitness and nutrition,
Kinesiology or
whatever.
something like that, like something in
Yeah,
in
exactly.
the
I mean, I think I remembered like pondering the idea, but science and math, those are just not my thing, which is why I got a degree in communication, which I'm so glad I got a degree in that because I feel like I can use it in so many different ways. It's just very specific. So I guess my opinion on college, I don't know. I think that my husband was smart. What he did is he went to a community college his first 2 years. So he saved a ton of money there. And he actually had a scholarship for baseball. And for his last 2 years, that's when he came up to Florida State University where I went. So I feel like a lot of people just feel this pressure to go to the big name school for all 4 years. And it's like the first 2 years, you're just paying money to do a bunch of kind of random classes until you figure out what your major is. So I just feel like, don't get so stuck on you need to go to a big name school all 4 years. Go get your electives or whatever those kind of fluff classes are out of the way at a community college, and then go do that. I mean, I think it's good to have the degree in your pocket just because it'll help you, get where you need to go. But I don't know. I have a degree and it's really not helping me right now. So
exactly.
I learned a lot as far as being on my own and meeting people, but I don't know. What's your opinion?
I think that, well, you say you wish you did like nutrition and all that, but I learned so much about nutrition, and I'm going to say like 85% of my knowledge about nutrition is from YouTube or resources from the internet. And I'm about to finish my nutrition degree, but as they teach these classes, I'm like, I sit in class and I'm like, what are you saying? Like, I remember one class, they said that following a strict diet or like maybe like a bodybuilding diet, I guess, was like a disorder. And I sat there and I was like, what? I was like, why? I'm like, you're telling people that are following a structured diet that's sustainable that it's a disorder. And I'm just like, I mean, like, I'd rather do that than just eat absolute garbage. So
yeah,
I don't know. You'd really be shocked by the things that they tell me. So like, and my dog's been up over here.
oh,
Yeah. And I guess
wants to be in the podcast.
Yeah, she wants to be in the podcast.
Hi, cutie.
There you go, Lucy. You got your spotlight. In my opinion, I think that it's really, really expensive. And luckily, I'm in a good position where my parents were able to pay for everything. But I know students, like, have to take out a bunch of loans and stuff like that. And I feel like if you don't really know what you want to do or what you really want, maybe it is smart to go to community college and save that money like your husband did. But I do think it's really good for networking, because now I have met so many people, and who knows who's going to be successful, but like I'm sure a lot of them will be, and I wish them the best. But so it's really good for networking, I would say, and just like maybe like I guess getting that social aspect, like getting socially smarter, I guess, because you're just meeting so many different people, and like I guess you understand like more human nature as opposed to not going away to college or just staying at home instead. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, you do get that social aspect of networking, but it's a lot of money, and you're right. A lot of people don't really know what they want to do. Like I started off in engineering, and I was like, what am I doing? So I switched to nutrition. So yeah, that's my take on college, like in general. I don't know if you agree with that, but awesome. So I think we were talking about college. So you just want to say your closing thoughts on college?
I think there are definitely a lot of benefits to it. Like we both said, the social aspect, the networking, there's a lot of growth to it. Just like for me, from my perspective, I was able to go away from home, but if you're at home, there's still so many networking opportunities. So I think it comes down to the person, your financial situation, where you want to go to college, if you know what you want to do. It really is. I mean, I'm so glad I went. I guess I'll sum it up with that. I'm definitely glad I went to college.
And I feel like it kind of, like, I'm not living on my own yet, but I feel like it kind of does give you, well, I have had an off-campus house, so I feel like it kind of gives you like an introduction to what it's to live on your own, but like not fully yet. So I feel like I'm going to be better prepared living on my own as a person that's like just being thrown into that, like, you know, get your own groceries, all this, like, be an adult. So I kind of like had a taste of what it was, but like I'm not fully there yet, but I'm just glad that I've already had that experience, because I already feel like I'm a little more prepared than like the average person just like going in to the
it won't be a huge shock when it comes time.
Exactly. So hopefully I won't go crazy. So why don't you go ahead and tell me, what supplements do you feel like are the most important, or if any supplements are important, like what do you think are the most important ones that you think?
So I feel like this is such a case by case basis kind of question. For me personally, because my goals involve growth and gaining muscle, I think a good quality protein supplement is so important. I think obviously whole foods, if you have whole foods available, always go towards that first. But sometimes it can be hard getting in, you know, all the chicken and all the lean ground beef and all that. So I think having a really good quality protein powder, I use the BPN whey protein, and I also use the BPN vegan protein. I kind of have issues with dairy. I break out when I have dairy, so that's why I use vegan protein. Yeah.
I'm actually using the vegan one too.
Oh, nice. Which one?
The cookie peanut butter one? Yeah, it's really good. I like it.
Yeah. The chocolate one is definitely my favorite. I feel like you can never go wrong with chocolate. But yeah, I'm not a plant-based diet eater. It's just the dairy aspect of but so that's a staple for me. And then I'm also not big into eating fruit. People are always shocked by that. I do not like fruit. I love my veggies, but I'm not great about getting my fruit in. So I actually take the strong greens and strong reds. It helps me just get in those added minerals and nutrients. So I think that's important for me for overall health. And then creatine. I think if you're trying to, like I said, build strength and grow, I think creatine is super important. So I take that every day. Those are definitely my staples for sure.
And you know, if it's cool with you, can I put your discount code in the link?
I would love that. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Because like I use those supplements myself, so I'm just like, you know, if they can have some sort of discount to use, definitely I can put yours up if that's okay with you.
Yeah, and that means a lot because
Mhm.
as I mentioned before, being a BPN ambassador, I share a lot of content on my Instagram, and I've shared on there that if you don't care about saving money, then I really appreciate the support because it allows me to see what's resonating with people, and just having them use my support code would be
Mhm.
awesome. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. Actually, so yes, I 100% agree with. Well, I've only really taken like 3 supplements like at a time. Really, I
Hmm.
kind of took creatine for like a few weeks in high school, but I never
Hmm.
saw a huge change from it. But also, people react really differently to creatine. Like it's
Yeah.
like you said, it's case by case. Protein, I feel like, is pretty important because usually people don't get enough. You in a typical diet, they don't get enough, or they get too much, which is like another controversial topic. So I think protein, you're on the money. But no, you don't. No pre-workout though. You don't think?
Oh, okay. I was thinking like absolutely essential. Yes, I
Okay.
could
Yeah, yeah.
dive
Now
deep
it's just
into
like to
everything
throw.
I take. Yeah. So this morning I actually decided I was like, huh. Well, I'm almost out of pre-workout. I think I have like 1 scoop left,
Mhm.
and I'm not supposed to get my next shipment until either tomorrow or the next day. I'm like, I'm feeling okay. Like I'm awake. I'll go get my workout in and not take pre-workout, and it made such difference not having it. I just was felt so tired because I worked out at like 5:30 this morning, and I was just like, I just didn't get the best out of my workout. So yeah, I also love pre-workout, and then I also love endo pump, which is a pump enhancer. So if I didn't want a stimulant,
Mhm.
yes, absolutely pre-workout. I'm all for pre-workout.
Mhm. The endo pump is actually crazy, to be honest. Like
Right.
because I'm working out at home, so I feel like if I'm not lifting like heavy-ish weight, I feel like I don't really need the pre-workout. I can probably just take, for me, it's like a cup of coffee and the endo pump like separately.
Okay.
So, but today I was just going off with that endo pump. Like I was like, whoa, I feel crazy right now because I haven't taken it in a few weeks. So I was like, it's a really good supplement, especially if someone's training at home. I definitely would recommend the endo pump. It's really, really good. And I have a full review on my Instagram, so everyone should go check that out too.
Ooh, I'll have to go check that out. I don't think I've seen that. I'm glad you love it just as much as I do. Oh, I get the best workouts when I take endo pump.
Same, same. And I can't wait until I get back to the gym so I can take pre-workout and that endo pump at the same time. So I feel like
Oh,
those two are probably a crazy combination together.
that is my favorite. I'm excited for you. I think it's cool too that you've had a time to take off a pre-workout. I think I need to do that, just take like a week or two, just so that way I can get into it and really feel the effects of it. That's
Mhm.
a good way to do it.
But like, don't get me wrong though. Like I was taking that every single day. I was taking pre-workout every single day. So the only reason I'm not taking it is because there's no gym available. So, all right. So why don't these are kind of like the last 2 questions I think I'll ask you. So how is it living a lifestyle of like traveling? Like, have you enjoyed it? Because you went from Florida to California and now you're in Washington. So like, how's that been? Even though it's just like across the U.S., but like, how has that been in general?
So I've loved it. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of difficult times in between because it's never easy picking up and moving, especially in such a short period of time. But yeah, we were in Florida. We moved I think 3 times just within Florida because we were in Tallahassee. That's where we graduated. Then we went to Pensacola. This was all because Sean was in flight training in the military, and then we went to a small town called Pace, and then we moved to Texas. Actually,
Oh,
we've never lived in California. That was an option we could have went, but we didn't
thought you
actually
were
live.
in San Diego at one point. No, you were never in San Diego.
No, I went. I mean, I went on a trip to Bakersfield a few months ago.
You know what? I was confused then because I thought your stories were always like San Diego, but now I know I'm
Oh,
completely off now.
we were in South Texas for the last 2 years in
Okay.
a little place called Kingsville. It's about 30-40 minutes south of Corpus Christi.
Mhm.
So we were living there and we loved Texas. And I think that's the thing. Like these are places that, and now we're in Washington, these are places we never would have just like, oh, let's go live in Kingsville, Texas. Oh, let's go live in Whidbey Island, Washington. Like we had never thought to do that. So we've loved it. I think, like I said, the hardest part is just the military moves and having, we fall in love with the place and then it's time to move, and leaving all of our friends that we've made. Like, those are the hard parts. But as far as being forced to get up and go somewhere new, I think that's good, because it's easy to get comfortable where you're at and just stay there because it's easy and it's familiar. So in that aspect, it's been a lot of fun. We're in love. Each place we've gone to, we've fallen in love with it. So I think the harder part for me is just having to kind of build my own, I guess, life in a way, my own career back up, because I finally had reached a management position in Kingsville. I worked on base as a sports and aquatics manager, and I finally got there, and I only worked there for about 5 or 6 months, and they had to move again. So now I'm kind of figuring things all out again. But the traveling aspect is a ton of fun, and then living in an RV has made it that much better.
All right, that's awesome. Do you guys know? Obviously, I feel like you never really know with the military, but do you guys think that at one point you're going to go international?
So that could be an option. It could be Japan. It just depends on. So right now we're in Washington, and Sean's trying to fly the Growler. It's an F-18. So I guess once he finishes, and that's when they'll pick what squadron he's in. There's one, I think it's called Expedition, and it could take us to Japan. I think there's a small chance for that, though. I think we're more likely to stay here. But yes, long story short, there is a small chance.
Awesome. And honestly, like, that's why I'm looking into joining the Navy, because like I'm ready to just like explore, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I've actually traveled a good amount for living, because I used to live in California actually, and then I moved to New York, and then I went to school in Rhode Island. But like, I kind of like doing that. I kind of like just like going to new environments. So like, I feel like it would honestly be a good test for me too, just because like I feel like I could get comfortable pretty quickly. So like you said, like, it kind of just like keeps you on your toes basically, and like, not like a terrible way either. Just like, like keeps you prepared for.
I've definitely grown so much more as a person by having to constantly get up, move, and then rebuild and meet new people and get out of my comfort zone, or else I'd be very lonely if I didn't do that. And you're clearly a very outgoing person. You're very easy to talk to. Like, I could see you thriving in a situation where you're having to kind of start over, meet new people. I think that would be great for you. I think for anyone. I mean, the world is so big. There's so many places to go. To stay in one place all your life, I think it's just doing yourself a disservice. So I think that'd be awesome.
And I feel like the longer you stay in one place, I feel like the worse your social skills get. I don't know, because like you're just like constantly either talking to the same people or you're just staying at home. Because I've noticed, like, as I've stayed at my house for like the past few weeks, I wasn't at first. I literally never left. I didn't leave the house for like 8 weeks or like 12 weeks or something like that. And then my parents were like, "Oh, okay, like we're a little more lenient now," because they were super paranoid about the COVID thing. So and I feel like I lost some social skills as that happened, just naturally, because I didn't talk to people, and I was like, I don't really know what to say to you people, and I've known you for years now. So
I can agree with that. I felt so weird when it was time to be like, okay, we can start going out a little bit, outside and talking to our neighbors. I said to Sean, I'm like, I hope I remember how to be social. Like, I hope I'm not awkward. It's a thing. I feel like it's a skill you can lose if you're not social. You just kind of forget. And I completely agree with you. Gotta keep up with it.
It's like a muscle almost. Like, you have to work out that social muscle every now and then, so.
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's another reason why I got a job on base here that's not here at home. Like I said, I want to do online nutrition coaching, but I'm a people person. I need to get out. So that's helped a lot. Just going to a job that's not in my house, it forces me to interact with people. Definitely, I love that comparison. It's like a muscle for sure.
All right. So, and then finally, last question. How is life on the trailer?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, my husband and I live full-time in a fifth wheel, and we just moved into it this past March, so it hasn't been too long. Sean had been trying to convince me for, I think, the past 2 years. He says 6 years. Maybe I just tuned him out all those years. But with the military lifestyle and with constantly moving, it just kind of made sense, because it's tiring picking up all our stuff and moving it, and we didn't want to buy a house yet. So, so long story short, I hate to say it, but he was right, and I love it. It's just such a simpler way to live. We realize we don't need so much stuff, and just we spend so much more time outdoors. Like, I think it's the community around it. It's just everybody in the RV park that we are neighbors with. It's just such a tight knit group,
Hmm.
and like I said, it's a simpler way. We spend more times outdoors than we do sitting inside on the couch watching TV. Like, we don't have cable. Like, my TV shows were very important to me before, and since we moved in here, we don't have cable, so we don't have TV. We'll watch a movie once in a while, but I mean, I just love it's a whole new way of thinking and living. I cannot recommend it enough. Or even if you don't want to live in it full time, I would recommend getting a small trailer and traveling. I think it's
Hmm.
awesome.
That really, like, it really, if you guys like look at our Instagram stories, it really doesn't look like as bad as like people would perceive it to be. Because like it's just
Yeah.
like it's simple. Like, it's first of all, it's just the two of you guys and your dog, right?
Yep. Yep.
So like
Yep.
I feel like you guys don't need a crazy amount of space in the first place. And
Yeah.
obviously with Sean's situation where he's constantly traveling, like it kind of makes sense for you guys to have it too. And it's very it seems very cozy, it seems very comfortable. So like
It is. And honestly, it's not like most RVs are a lot smaller. Like, we got a pretty bougie RV, as I was telling you. Like, it's pretty big. We have our bedroom, we have a middle bedroom, and then we have a huge living room, for RV. I remember when Sean first said, "Oh, I would love to live in a trailer RV." And the thing, all the thoughts I was thinking, I'm like, hell no, I could never do that. I could never live in something small, especially like I need my space.
mhm.
So I thought all the things that you guys are probably thinking, but it's not. There's so many other perks and positives, and we have plenty of space. We can go outside. Like, it's good.
Mhm.
Love it.
All right, Megan. I think you don't have to leave when I stop recording, but I
Okay.
think we're gonna stop it for now. Thank you so much for being on here. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for just giving your opinions on, you know, topics that I feel like a lot of people would benefit from in general. And hopefully we'll have you on again at some point if you would like. But other than that, I just appreciate you being on here. Thank you.
I had so much fun. Thanks for having me.
No problem. No problem.